My wife of 5 years demanded partner swapping with my best friend because she was disgusted to sleep with me, thinking I was too broke to divorce her. So I nodded and quietly nuked her entire life. All right, Reddit. So my wife of 5 years told me she wasn't attracted to me anymore and tried to pressure me into regularly swapping partners with my best friend because she thought I was too broke to divorce her. She'd already workshopped the whole thing with her sister and pre-cleared it with my best friend's marriage behind my back. What she didn't know? I'd just gotten a massive promotion, and her little power play turned into the most expensive mistake of her life. Grab some popcorn because this gets wild. I, 39 male, met my wife Sandra, 41 female, at a work conference 7 years ago. I was giving a presentation on operational efficiency, boring stuff that usually puts people to sleep. Wrapped up, headed for the exit, and this woman in a blue dress intercepted me. That was actually interesting. Sandra, vendor relations for some company I'd never heard of. We talked for 20 minutes. Then she suggested dinner since the conference food was garbage. Then she asked for my number. She texted the next day. Then, every day after that. Within a month, we were dating. The first few years were solid. She was attentive, supportive, and thoughtful. When my dad got diagnosed with cancer, she drove with me to every treatment appointment. When I got passed over for a promotion, she talked me through it. She integrated herself into my life perfectly. Got along with my friends, charmed my family, remembered everyone's birthdays. My sister, who hates everyone I date, actually approved. We moved in together after 14 months, engaged at 18 months, married at the 2-year mark. For the next 4.5 years, everything seemed fine. We had our routines. The bedroom situation was good. We talked about starting a family eventually, upgrading the house, all the normal married couple stuff. Then 6 months before our 5th anniversary, things changed overnight. She started turning me down every time I tried to initiate anything physical. Always had an excuse. Tired from work, headache, not feeling well. I figured she was stressed, gave her space, but it kept happening. Week after week, excuse after excuse. She also started spending way more time with Melissa, her younger sister. Girls' nights, shopping trips, weekend getaways. Melissa had always rubbed me the wrong way, the type who sizes you up and decides if you're worth her time in 30 seconds. But Sandra insisted they were just reconnecting after Melissa's messy divorce. I didn't push it. Marriage has rough patches. You work through them. Our 5th anniversary was coming up. I'd been planning something for months. Got a reservation at the Italian place downtown, where I'd proposed. Picked up a custom necklace for her. Cost me $2,000, which is insane for rocks on a chain, but it's your anniversary, right? You're supposed to make it count. What Sandra didn't know was that I'd gotten promoted 3 weeks earlier. Senior Director of Operations, 40% raise, $75,000 bonus. I'd kept quiet about it because I wanted to drop it at dinner. Had this whole plan. Nice meal, give her the necklace, then hit her with the promotion news. We could finally upgrade the house, take that Italy trip she'd been talking about. The restaurant was packed. I showed up in my best suit with the necklace box in my pocket, ready to make this count. Sandra arrived 10 minutes late wearing a black dress I'd never seen before. Form-fitting, gorgeous. She sat down across from me without much of a greeting. No kiss, no smile, just a quiet hi before she picked up the menu. The energy was off immediately. Cold, distant, like she was at a business meeting instead of our anniversary dinner. I tried to salvage it. Ordered dinner, made conversation about the restaurant, asked about her day. She gave one-word answers, barely looked at me, kept checking her phone under the table. I could see the screen lighting up her face every few minutes. Our food arrived. I ordered a steak I couldn't taste, watched my anniversary dinner die in real time. Every attempt at conversation hit a wall. Every compliment got a flat thanks. She picked at her food like it personally offended her. 20 minutes of this. Just awkward silence and forced small talk. Finally, I set down my fork. You okay? You seem somewhere else tonight. She looked up from her phone. I'm fine. She set her phone down, face up on the table. I could see texts lighting up the screen, but couldn't read them from my angle. I just have a lot on my mind. Want to talk about it? Not really. I picked up my glass, took a sip, tried a different angle. I wanted tonight to be special. It's been a rough year for both of us, I know, but I thought, can I ask you something? She cut me off, eyes focused on her plate. Yeah, of course. Are you happy? I mean, yeah. Things have been tough with work stress and everything, but that's not what I asked. She looked up now, direct eye contact. Are you happy? In this marriage? My stomach dropped a little. Where's this coming from? Just answer the question. I'm working on making things better. I know I've been distracted lately with everything at the office, but you didn't answer. I set my glass down carefully. Are you happy? She took a breath, glanced around the restaurant like she was checking if anyone could hear us. Honestly? No. There it was. The thing I'd been sensing for 6 months but couldn't quite name. The distance. The cold shoulders. The way she flinched when I touched her. How long have you felt like this? A while. How long is a while? She shrugged. 6 months, maybe. Why didn't you say something? I kept thinking it would pass. Maybe I was just stressed or hormonal or whatever. She pushed her food around her plate. But it hasn't passed. If anything, it's gotten worse. I could feel my jaw tightening, but I forced myself to stay composed. Stay calm. What's gotten worse? Everything. The way we live. The routine. You. She said it matter of fact, like she was listing groceries. Me. Yeah, you. I'm not attracted to you anymore. She said it so casually, so easily. I haven't been in a long time, and I don't think that's going to change. The fork in my hand felt heavy. I set it down slowly. Around us, couples were laughing, celebrating, having normal nights. And my wife just told me she wasn't attracted to me anymore. Okay, I kept my voice level, neutral. Then we should probably talk about what that means for us. I've been thinking about that. She leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. I don't want a divorce. You just said you're not attracted to me. Do you think I will stay with you after that? I know what I said. I didn't say I was miserable. I said I was not attracted. There's a difference. She picked up her glass, took a sip. I still care about you. I just don't want to sleep with you anymore. The bluntness of it was almost impressive. Sandra, if you're not attracted to me, if you don't want to be intimate, then we need to figure out an arrangement that works for both of us. An arrangement? Yeah. Something practical. Adult. She leaned forward slightly, voice dropping. Look, I know things haven't been great financially. Your company's been struggling. You haven't gotten a raise in what, 2 years? We're barely keeping up with the mortgage as is. My stomach tightened. Here it came. Divorce would destroy us financially, she continued. Split assets, 2 households, legal fees. We can't afford that. You know we can't. So your solution is what exactly? I just wanted to know where she was going with this. She paused, glanced around again, then looked me dead in the eye. I want us to swing with Kenneth and Margaret. I actually laughed. Quiet, but genuine. You're joking. I'm not. No smile, no humor. Dead serious. We stay married, keep our financial situation stable, but we swap partners with them. Regularly. I sat back, processing. You've really thought this through. Of course I have. I'm not going to blow up our entire life on impulse. She picked at her nail polish. This way, nobody loses anything. We keep the house, the lifestyle, everything. We just adjust our expectations. Adjust our expectations to you sleeping with my best friend. And you'd get Margaret. It's completely fair. Honestly, you should be thanking me for finding such a perfect solution. Thanking her. Right. Who brought this up? I kept my voice calm. Curious, even. You or Kenneth? She hesitated. Just a second, but I caught it. It was mutual. We've all been thinking about it. All of you. Yes. Kenneth, Margaret, me? We've discussed it several times already. They're both very open to the idea. How long have these discussions been going on? Her jaw tensed slightly. A few weeks, but it's not like we've done anything yet. And you're just now telling me. I wanted to make sure everyone was on board before bringing it to you. No point stressing you out if it wasn't going to happen. How considerate. Don't be sarcastic. I'm trying to help our marriage here. She leaned back, crossing her arms. Look, I know you've noticed Margaret. Every guy does. She's gorgeous, she works out, she's fun. You'd be getting an amazing deal here. Most guys would kill for this opportunity. And you want Kenneth, obviously. Have you seen him? He's been hitting the gym. He's got that new job. His divorce glow-up has been incredible. And let's be honest, our bedroom situation hasn't exactly been exciting lately. So your solution is we just swap partners whenever you feel like it. Not whenever I feel like it. We'd have a schedule. Probably twice a month. Maybe at their place, maybe at a hotel. We haven't decided yet. But it would be structured. Organized. A schedule. Yes. Kenneth suggested every other Saturday. We met for coffee while you were at work. She waved her hand dismissively. Don't make that face. It was just coffee. We kept everything appropriate until we had your permission. How generous of them. And Margaret's on board with this. Completely. She thinks you're attractive. She told me at that barbecue last month that you've aged well or something like that. She's excited about it, honestly. This was insane. She leaned forward, voice hardening slightly. And before you say no, You should know that if you force a divorce, I'll make it as expensive and miserable as possible. There it was. The real play. The threat wrapped in a reasonable tone. Are you threatening me? I'm being realistic. You can't afford a contested divorce. I've already talked to Melissa's ex-husband. He's a lawyer, remember? And he's explained exactly how this would go. I'd get the house. I'd get half your retirement. I'd drag it out for years, rack up your legal fees until you're drowning in debt. You'd end up in some apartment somewhere, barely making rent, while I stay comfortable. When did you talk to Melissa's ex-husband? 2 weeks ago. She thinks my solution is brilliant, by the way. She said most men would jump at the chance to sleep with someone like Margaret. She thinks you're being difficult if you say no. Of course. Her nightmare sister was in on this. Probably helped her rehearse this whole conversation. I'm giving you a way to keep your life intact and get something amazing out of it. Most women wouldn't be this generous. She reached across the table like she was going to touch my hand, then thought better of it. Think about it. I looked at her. This woman I'd spent 7 years with. This woman who thought I was broke and desperate. This woman who was so confident in her leverage that she dropped this bomb on our anniversary. And I smiled. Small. Controlled. I need to think about it. Don't think too long. I want an answer by the end of the week. She picked up her fork again, started eating like we'd just discussed weekend plans. Kenneth's already cleared his schedule for next Saturday if you say yes. Margaret suggested we start at their place since it's bigger. Got it. She smiled, like she'd just solved world hunger. I finished my dinner in silence. Paid the bill because I wasn't about to cause a scene. Drove home without a word. She hummed along to the radio like we'd just had a pleasant evening out. When we got home, she went straight upstairs. I heard the bedroom door close. I sat in the living room, pulled out my phone. She thought I was broke. She thought I was trapped. She thought she had all the leverage. I pulled up my banking app, looked at our shared checking account, the one where my paychecks had been going for 5 years. Then I opened my email and pulled up the promotion offer letter. Reread the section about the raise and bonus, the numbers that would have changed everything for us. Then I thought about Kenneth, my best friend for 15 years. The guy who drove 3 hours to help me move furniture, who remembered my dad's chemo schedule and checked in every week, who sent me stupid memes at 2 a.m. just to make me laugh. No chance he'd agree to sleep with my wife, but I needed to be sure. I pulled up our text thread and typed, "Hey man, when's the last time you saw Sandra?" He responded 3 minutes later. "Your wife? That barbecue at our place like 4 months ago?" "Why? 4 months. Not a few weeks ago for coffee," like Sandra claimed. I typed back, "She mentioned anything to you about us? About our marriage?" "No." "Dude, what's going on?" One more question. The real one. "Did she ever talk to you and Margaret about some kind of arrangement? Partner swap?" The 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "What?" "No. Heck no. Is she trying to say we..." "Yeah. Bro, I haven't even talked to Sandra since that barbecue. Margaret would kill me if I even suggested something like that. What the heck is going on?" There it was. Sandra had lied about everything. The coffee meetings, the discussions, Kenneth and Margaret being excited about it. All of it was fabricated to make me think I had no choice, that everyone was already on board. "I'll explain later. Thanks for being straight with me. Seriously, man. Call me. This sounds messed up." I didn't call. Not yet. I had everything I needed. My phone started buzzing. Kenneth calling. Then another text. Then another call. He was freaking out, and I got it. But I couldn't afford to get pulled into explanations right now. I needed to stay focused, document everything, build my case. I silenced my phone and put it face down on the coffee table. So Sandra had lied about him too. Used his name to make her manipulation sound legitimate. Probably figured I'd be too intimidated to verify, too desperate to question it. Perfect. Let her think I believed that lie, along with all the others. I was going to play this smart, stay calm, protect what was mine. She wanted to play games, fine. But she just made the biggest mistake of her life. The next morning, I was up at 5. Sandra was still asleep. I got dressed, grabbed my laptop, drove to a coffee shop across town. First move. Opened a new checking account at a different bank. Online application, approved in 20 minutes. Second move. Logged into my company's HR portal and changed my direct deposit to the new account, effective immediately. My next paycheck, which would include the promotion raise, would go into an account Sandra didn't know existed. I spent the next 3 hours at that coffee shop making moves. Logged into all our joint accounts and downloaded every statement from the past 5 years. Credit cards, savings, investment accounts, everything. Saved them all to an encrypted folder on my laptop. Then I started digging through Sandra's spending. Found some interesting patterns. Weekly shopping trips with Melissa averaging 800 to 1200 per trip. Business lunches that were actually spa days. A $4,500 charge from 3 months ago to a jewelry store. But I'd never seen her wear anything new. I took screenshots of everything. Next, I pulled our tax returns from the past 3 years. Made copies. Organized everything into folders by year. By noon, I had a complete financial picture of our marriage. Every asset, every debt, every questionable expense. I called my company's legal department. We had a benefit I'd never used. Free consultations with law firms for personal matters. They gave me 3 names of divorce specialists. I called the first one. I explained I needed a consultation but wanted to keep it confidential. They had an opening that afternoon. The attorney was in his 50s, sharp suit, even sharper eyes. I laid out the situation. The dead bedroom, the anniversary confrontation, Sandra's assumption about my finances, the partner swap proposal, her threats about dragging out the divorce. We live in a one-party consent state, he said. You must record every conversation you have with her. Keep the recordings backed up in multiple places. If she threatens you again, if she admits to the manipulation, get it on tape. Is that enough for a divorce? Irreconcilable differences is enough for a divorce? But having proof of her behavior will help with asset division, especially if she tries to claim you were the cause of the marriage failing. How long does this take? If she contests it, 6 months minimum. If she doesn't, we can have you divorced in 90 days. What if I file first? Always better to file first. You control the narrative. You set the timeline. And psychologically, it puts her on the defensive. What about her threats to drain me in legal fees? He smiled. Let her try. From what you've described, you've got documentation. You've got recordings coming, and you're financially stable. She's operating on bad information. By the time she realizes her mistake, it'll be too late. I left his office feeling calmer than I had in months. I had a plan. That night at home, Sandra was in the living room with Melissa. They were having snacks, laughing about something. I walked past them to the guest room. Have you thought about it? Sandra called after me. Still thinking. Don't think too long. Melissa smirked at me. It's very mature of you to consider this. Most guys are too insecure. I need to grab something from the bedroom, I said. I went to our room, pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder app, and tucked the phone in my shirt pocket with the microphone exposed. Then I went back to the living room. Actually, let's talk about this now. I want to understand the full plan. Sandra's face lit up. She thought I was coming around. Okay, great. So basically, start from the beginning. Why do you want this arrangement? She looked more comfortable and said, I told you. I'm not attracted to you anymore. I need something different. And you think sleeping with Kenneth will fix that? It's not about fixing anything. It's about being honest about what I need, which is someone more successful, someone with ambition. Kenneth's about to make partner at his firm. He's going places. And I'm not? Melissa chimed in. Be honest, you've been stuck in the same position for years. No offense, but Sandra deserves someone who's a better provider. I nodded slowly. So this is about money? It's about security, Sandra said. I can't build a life with someone who's financially stagnant. And if I don't agree to this partner swap, then we get divorced and I take everything I'm entitled to, which, given your income, will basically leave you broke. You'd really do that? Destroy me financially because I won't let you sleep with my best friend? I'd do what I need to do to protect my interests. And Melissa agrees with this? Melissa raised her glass. Family first. Sandra deserves better than what she's got. I stayed in that conversation for another 30 minutes. Got every detail. Sandra explaining how the swap would work. Melissa backing her up, making snide comments about my career and income. Sandra threatening again that divorce would ruin me. All of it recorded. That night, I backed up the recording to 3 different cloud services and emailed a copy to myself. The next day, I filed for divorce. Sandra got served at work. I'd specifically requested that. Wanted her colleagues to see it. Wanted the embarrassment to be public. She called me 17 times that afternoon. I didn't answer. She came home that night, and I heard her before I saw her, heels slamming against the hardwood, getting louder with each step. The guest room door flew open so hard it bounced off the wall. What the heck is this? She waved the divorce papers at me like they were on fire. I looked up from my laptop, closed it slowly. Legal documentation. Thought the letterhead made that pretty obvious. You can't afford this. We talked about this. You can't even... And yet, here we are. Funny how that works. Her face was red, like tomato red. You're bluffing. This is some kind of sick joke to get back at me for suggesting I let another man sleep with you? Nah, that's not revenge. That's just common sense. You spineless. She caught herself, but barely. You think you can just walk away? From everything? From me? I leaned back in my chair, crossed my arms. Already did. Signed the papers this morning. You're holding the courtesy copy. I will bury you. Her voice went up an octave. I will take every single thing you have. The house, the car, the savings, everything. You'll be living in some dumpy apartment eating ramen while I started laughing. She stopped mid-sentence. What's so funny? You. I wiped my eyes. You're threatening to take everything from a guy you thought was broke 6 days ago. The math isn't mathing, sweetheart. I know you have money hidden somewhere. I'll find it. I'll get a lawyer who'll... Good luck with that. You're insane. You know that? You're actually insane. She was pacing now, hands shaking. I'll contest this. I'll drag this out for years. I'll make sure You'll what? I stood up, walked right up to her. Not touching, just close enough that she had to look up at me. Threaten me again, and I will destroy your pathetic life. She stepped back. I trusted you. We could have worked it out. If you'd just been open-minded, I am open-minded. That's why I'm open to the idea of you getting absolutely nothing in this divorce. This isn't over. Yeah, it is. You just don't know it yet. She grabbed her phone, started typing furiously, probably texting Melissa. You're going to regret this. Nah, I'm going to sleep great tonight. You, on the other hand. I smiled. You're going to spend the next 6 months explaining to a judge why you thought threatening your husband was a good strategy. And then you're going to walk away with exactly what you contributed to this marriage. Which is what? Debt, drama, and a really impressive collection of handbags you bought with my money. She looked like she wanted to throw something, settled for pointing at me instead. You're a coward, a pathetic, controlling, and yet, I'm the one holding all the cards. I turned back to my laptop. You can leave now. Lock the door on your way out. This is my house too. Was, past tense. You'll get the official notice tomorrow, but I'll give you the preview. You've got 30 days to figure out where you're going. I'd suggest asking Melissa if she's got a spare room. Since you two are so close and all. She stood there for another minute, breathing hard, fists clenched. I could see her brain working, trying to find an angle, some way to turn this around. There wasn't one. You're going to be destroyed for this, she finally said, voice shaking. Everyone will know what you did. I looked up at her one last time, smiled. Everyone's going to know what you did. Big difference. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got emails to send to my lawyer. Melissa showed up 20 minutes later. Must have broken every speed limit getting here. She barged in without knocking, which was bold, considering I'd already changed the locks. You're not doing this to her, Melissa announced. Yeah, I really am. She made a mistake. One conversation doesn't... Cool. You can support her through the divorce too. Maybe chip in for her legal fees, since she won't be getting them from me. Sandra was crying now, dramatic sobs that probably worked on other people. Not on me, not anymore. This is cruel, Melissa said. She loves you. You're in my house without permission. Want me to call the cops? Or are you going to leave voluntarily? They left 5 minutes later. Sandra sobbing, Melissa practically dragging her to the car. I watched from the window as they drove off. Melissa already on her phone, probably calling everyone she knew to give them the play-by-play. I locked the door, made myself some tea, and went back to my evidence folder. 30 days until she was officially out of my house, and hopefully out of my life too. The next week was a blur of legal posturing. Sandra hired an attorney, a shark from what I could tell. She filed a motion to freeze all our accounts. My lawyer countered with documentation showing my new separate account and proof that I'd only redirected my own income, not touched any joint funds. She demanded half of everything: the house, the cars, the savings, my retirement accounts. My lawyer responded with a list of her questionable expenses and the recordings of her threats. Her lawyer called my lawyer, proposed a settlement, 60-40 split in her favor. She keeps the house, I keep my retirement accounts. My lawyer called me. Want to counter? No. Let's go to court. I want this on record. 2 weeks later, we had a preliminary hearing. Sandra showed up with Melissa, both dressed like they were going to a funeral. I showed up alone in a suit. The judge reviewed the filings, looked at the recordings I'd submitted, listened to Sandra's lawyer argue that the recordings were taken without consent. It's a one-party consent state, the judge said. The recordings are admissible. Sandra's lawyer tried a different angle. Your Honor, my client was simply exploring options to save the marriage. By demanding her husband allow her to have an affair with his best friend? That's an interesting definition of saving a marriage. The courtroom was silent. I'm granting the divorce, the judge said. Asset division will be 50-50 as per state law. The house will be sold and proceeds split. Retirement accounts remain separate. No alimony on either side. Any objections? Sandra's lawyer started to speak. The judge cut her off. I asked for objections, not arguments. This is a preliminary ruling based on the evidence presented. If either party wishes to contest, we can schedule a full hearing. But I'm warning both of you, this is a very straightforward case. Dragging it out will only cost you money. Sandra didn't contest. Neither did I. We sold the house a month later. Split everything exactly down the middle. I took my half and bought a condo in a better part of town. Smaller place, but it was mine. All mine. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I was settling into my new life. The condo was furnished, work was going great. I'd started seeing someone casually. Nothing serious, just enjoying the freedom of being single again. Then Sandra called. First time we'd spoken since the divorce was finalized. I need to ask you something, she said. What? How are you affording that condo and the new car I saw you driving? I smiled. She'd been stalking my social media. I'm doing fine. But you were broke. You couldn't afford the divorce. How? Sandra, I was never broke. Silence. What? I got promoted 3 weeks before our anniversary. Senior director. 40% raise, $75,000 bonus. That's how I'm affording things. More silence. You had a promotion? Yep. Was planning to surprise you at our anniversary dinner. Had this whole thing planned. Then you dropped your disgusting bomb and tried to manipulate me into letting you sleep with Kenneth. Why didn't you tell me? Because you showed me exactly who you were. You thought I was broke and weak, so you made your move. If I'd told you about the promotion, you would have just shifted tactics. This way, I got to see the real you. I wouldn't have. Yes, you would have. She hung up. 9 months after that anniversary dinner, I was living in a downtown loft with floor-to-ceiling windows and zero regrets. The divorce went through fast. Good attorney, documentation of everything, recordings of conversations, legal in my state. Saved me a fortune. She got half the house proceeds. Fine by me. I got my actual assets, my new salary, my bonus structure, and my peace. Sandra tried texting, then calling, then showing up places. I ignored all of it. Changed my number, moved, started fresh. Then my doorbell rang on a Tuesday night. I checked the camera feed. Sandra. Jeans, hoodie, no makeup, looking rough. I opened the door. Didn't invite her in. Hey, her voice cracked. Can we talk? About what? Please. 5 minutes. I made a mistake. Okay, that's it? I waited. I'm sorry, really sorry. What I did was wrong. I was stressed about money and... You done? No. Please, I was confused. I wasn't going to go through with it. Why are you here? Because I miss you. Because everything fell apart, and I realized what I lost. Everyone knows. Someone told Melissa's ex-husband about the recordings. My friends won't talk to me. Melissa says I'm delusional for thinking you'd take me back. The house needed repairs I couldn't afford. The mortgage killed me until I had to sell. I had to get a second job at a grocery store. Sounds rough. I know I don't deserve another chance. But we were good once. We had something real. Her eyes watered. I was stupid. I panicked. I thought we were broke. And now I know you are worthless. Please, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. Counseling. Starting over. Anything. No. She started sobbing. Full breakdown. Shoulders shaking, gasping, snot running. No. Please. I can be better. Please. You should go. I'm not leaving. She grabbed the doorframe. You're not this cruel. That man's gone. Move. No. Hysterical now. Holding my doorframe like a child. I have nothing left. I'll get on my knees. Please. And she did. Right there. Knees, hands clasped, sobbing. Get up. Not until you give me a chance. Get up. I love you. One mistake, and you're throwing away 7 years. Get off my property. People make mistakes. Last chance. Leave or I'm calling the cops. You wouldn't. I pulled out my phone and dialed. No, please. Dispatcher answered. I gave my address, explained an ex-wife refusing to leave, blocking my doorway. Sandra screamed. We're just talking. She's becoming aggressive. Send officers. I hung up. Sandra stared at me like I'd stabbed her. You actually called the cops on me. Told you to leave. I'm your wife. Ex-wife. Divorced 9 months ago. This is unbelievable. I came here to apologize and you're treating me like a criminal. You're trespassing. That makes you a criminal. She stood up, wiping her face, pacing. You're just angry. You'll calm down eventually and... Sandra. She looked at me. I don't think about you anymore. I don't miss you. I don't wonder what you're doing. You're just someone I used to know who made a really bad choice. That's all there is to it. You have to feel something. You can't just turn it off like red and blue lights hit the building. Two squad cars. Her face went white. I'm leaving. I'm leaving right now. Just tell them it was a misunderstanding. Nope. Please. Two officers approached. Evening, the older one said. We got a call about someone refusing to leave the premises. That's her, I pointed. Asked her multiple times to leave. She refused. Sandra turned to them, tears streaming down her face. We're married. We were just talking. This is all a misunderstanding. Divorced, I corrected. The female officer looked at Sandra, then at me, then back at Sandra. Took in the swollen eyes, the running makeup, the desperate energy radiating off her. Ma'am, is this your residence? No, but did he invite you here tonight? No, but we were married for 7 years and so you showed up uninvited to your ex-husband's home and refused to leave when asked multiple times? Sandra's mouth opened and closed. It's not like that. I just wanted to talk to him. The officer glanced at her partner, then back at Sandra. Ma'am, you need to leave the property now. If you come back, you'll be charged with trespassing. This is insane. I'm not some stalker. We were married for 7 years. And now you're divorced. That means his property is off limits, unless he invites you. Sandra looked at me one last time. Please, just tell them this was a mistake. Tell them I'm leaving. I said nothing, just looked at her. Sir, do you want to press charges? The older officer asked me. Not unless she comes back here again. Heard that, ma'am, the female officer said. You come back here, you're getting arrested. This is your only warning. Sandra's face crumpled completely. She turned and started walking toward her car, still crying, stumbling slightly on the curb. The officer watched her go, then looked at me with this tired, knowing expression. Let me guess. She wanted another chance after screwing up the first one. Something like that. Yeah, we see this a lot. Also, do yourself a favor and get a restraining order if she keeps showing up. Makes our job easier if we have to come back. Will do. And upgrade your doorbell camera if you haven't already, just in case she decides round 2 of dramatic begging is a good life choice. The older officer snorted. They left. I closed the door, locked it, made myself some tea and turned on a movie. Some mistakes cost everything. Sandra learned that the hard way. And honestly, not my problem anymore. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.